What's going on, guys? Boss6 here, back to your video, and today, this is my third time recording this video because apparently life can't leave me alone. I'm going to be doing my NFC video where I predict every NFL team's record and what I think the standings are going to be for said teams. Horribly, I might add. But yeah, third time recording this video because, again, I just can't get a break. I came so close to ending this video like 3 times, but stuff just keeps getting up. But I'm finally able to do this video, so I'm basically going to be repeating the same stuff that I did for the AFC video, but it's going to be for the NFC. And I'm just going to go through this, try to go through this a little bit quick with this one, so it's not at least like a 35 or 45 minute video. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. So, we'll start off with the NFC East. The reigning Super Bowl champion Eagles are going to be number 1. Then it's Washington, Dallas, and the Giants. So the Eagles, I have 13-4. Last year they had the 21st ranked schedule, and now, or they were tied for it. And now this year they have the 4th ranked schedule. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the Eagles like this, because last year they were 14-3. They were absolutely lights out. They were dominant. There were times where they were a little bit questionable, especially on the coaching side, especially with Nick Sirianni. But last year they managed to steamroll into the playoffs and absolutely beat the Chiefs to win their 2nd Lombardi trophy in their entire franchise. And, yeah, they were just absolutely dominant. They got Saquon Barkley from the Giants. They acquired Zach Bond. They got Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And they were just an absolute unit last year. And while I don't think they're going to be as strong as a team this year, especially with Lane Johnson retiring and C.J. Gardner-Johnson going to the Texans, yeah, they're going to struggle just a little bit this year, but not by a whole lot. I still think they're going to be the best team in the AFC East. Without a doubt, and I believe I have them actually the best team in the AFC and general. But yeah, I think this team is going to be very, very, very good again. A lot of people are going to groan because, well, it's Philly, and yeah, I just think they're going to be a great team this year. And yeah, that's what I think is winning the division. Now, Washington, on the other hand, I have them at 12-5. Last year, they were tied for the 16th ranked schedule, and now this one, they're actually the 8th ranked schedule this year. I think they're going to be a fun team. Again, they came out of nowhere last year because, well, we are now in Dan Quinn, Jane Daniels era, and we didn't know how it was going to look at first. And then, you know, they were picking up wins after wins after wins, especially... Sorry about that, folks. My brother just came home. I decided to shut my door so that way, and not a lot of outside interferences messing up with me. But yeah, Washington came out of nowhere. Didn't really expect them. A lot of us didn't expect us to be as good as they were. They managed to knock off the Bucs in the playoffs and the Lions in the playoffs to go into the championship game, where they ultimately got defeated by the Eagles. But yeah, it's a fun time here in Washington land, especially they're going to get their own stadium now. No more FedEx Field. And, yeah, just overall good stuff. Now, there is a concern, especially with Terry McLaurin possibly leaving, because he was floating around in the trade market and maybe somebody might pick him up. Who are they going to replace him with? We don't really know. But I do think this team's going to be fun to do, especially with Jane Daniels throwing the ball around. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun time, any other things, and I'm excited for Washington. This is the first time Washington fans have had hope in a fucking dog's age, because, well, Dan Snyder was their owner. Yeah, the less I say about that, the better, but, yeah, 12-5, I think it's a respectable number right there for Washington. And then the Cowboys. Good old Dallas. How about them Cowboys? Them Cowboys are going 6-11. I think this team's going to be mid as hell. So last year they were tied for the 12th ranked schedule, and now they're tied for the 5th. Yeah, that's fun. That's going to be fun. I just don't think this team's going to be that great. Hell, I might putting them at 6-11 might be a little bit generous. They might actually be 5-12 for all I know, but yeah, this team has no idea what it's doing. You have Brian Schottenheimer as your head coach, so Seattle sends its condolences. And you've got Matt Eberflus as your defensive coordinator, which he's not a bad DC, just don't let him be in control of the timeouts. But you extended Dak and you extended CeeDee Lamb to big contracts. What are you going to do with Micah Parsons? Because that is the big thing the team needs. They need Micah Parsons. And knowing Jerry, he's probably going to sign him before the ball's even kicked on opening game day, but who knows? Who really knows? But yeah, I just don't think Dallas is going to be that great this year. I just think they're going to suck on the outside of things. But speaking of suck, the Giants. I think they're going to go 3-14 this year. Yeah, they're not going to be good. I think they're going to suck this year. Last year they were tied for the 6th-ranked schedule, and now this year they actually have the 1st-ranked schedule. They have the hardest schedule this year because apparently the NFL gods hate this team for some apparent reason, and they want their fan base to suffer even more so, despite the fact they just had to go through Daniel Jones. But we are now in the Jackson Dart era, I guess. I don't really know. You've got Jackson Dart in the 1st round, which I don't know why you traded a bunch of picks for him when he was a borderline 2nd-round pick, but whatever, what do I know? But you do have Abdul Carter, and you still have Malik Neighbors there, which is really nice, but this team doesn't have anything going for it. I mean, you signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, which that might be fun, but I just don't think this team is going to be good at all. I think they're going to be 3-14. They're going to be the worst team of the entire league. And, yeah, not much more needs to be said about that. Giants are just going to fucking suck. Then for the NFC North, I have the Lions, Packers, Bears, and Vikings. The Lions, I think they're going to go 13. They're going to go 12-5 this year. Last year they have the 11th ranked schedule. Now this year they're tied for the 2nd. Yeah, the Lions went 15-2 last year. Had a fantastic offense. Defense was good, and then the injuries happened, and that's when everything just went to shit. Especially with Aiden Hutchinson going down with injury. He was done for the season. That sucked. That sucked a whole lot, actually. Yeah, that was not fun. That was not fun to see. But yeah, even though despite the fact they went 15-2, this was a big what-if team. What if the Lions were actually healthy? Do you think they could have went and beat Washington and possibly beat the Eagles and go into the Super Bowl? I'm not 100% sure, but we can only speculate what could have been. That's the big thing. What could have been with the Lions? And honestly, it all depends on if Jared Goff is the guy. I don't really know per se because I do think he is a good quarterback. But again, I don't know. I don't know with Detroit especially, but I mean, Dan Campbell believes in them, so I'll give him credit for that. Yes, you did lose your defensive and offensive coordinators, and Ben Johnson to the Bears, and Aaron Glenn went to the Jets. But I think they're going to be fine. I don't think, like Detroit fans, I think they're overreacting about this personally. As long as you have Dan Quinn as your head coach, or not Dan Quinn, Dan Campbell as your head coach, you guys are going to be fine. You guys have dealt with worse. You had Matt Patricia your head coach at one point, for Christ's sake. But, yeah, they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be absolutely fine. Then, the Packers, I think, are going to be 10-7. So, last year they were tied for the 4th-ranked schedule. Now this year they're going to be tied for the 5th-ranked schedule. I'm sorry I'm stumbling over my words because I wanted to get this video done and over with. But, yeah, the Packers last year, they were weird. They were kind of an odd team last year because the first game against Philly, they lost in Brazil. That's when Jordan Love popped his knee, and he was out for a little bit. And then Malik Willis came in from the Titans, And he did okay. He didn't do anything too spectacular. All he had to literally was told to do was just not turn the ball over and everything would be okay. Josh Jacobs had a hell of a year though. He had a really damn good year. He's always been pretty consistent, even with his time in Las Vegas. But yeah, he had a damn good year this year. It's just the main problem or problems with the Packers last year was their defense was a little inconsistent at points. They don't really have a number one wide receiver, and the receivers kept getting hurt. And the big question is Jordan Love the franchise guy? Now, they did lock him up. They did extend him, I think, this past offseason. But is he really the guy? That's always been my kind of thing. Because, I don't know, like, there'll be times where he plays good, but then other times it's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure with the Packers, but we'll see. We'll see how it all goes. Now with the Bears, they're going to be the opposite of the Packers in terms of team schedule, and I think they're going to be 7-10 this year. Now, the Bears, they actually had one of the softer schedules last year. They had tied for the 29th ranked schedule, but this year they're tied for the second. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. Fun for the whole family. But, yeah, they weren't. The Bears started off good. They were 4-0, or I think they were 4-0 or 4-1. And then shit went downhill as soon as they lost to Washington, and that's when everything went downhill from there because, good Lord, it was a fucking disaster for these guys. It really, really, really was because I don't even know what the hell happened. Like, ever since that loss to Washington, it all went downhill from there. You know, their defense that looked good stumbled a lot. Their offense was very anemic because Caleb Williams played okay at best. But the O-line was terrible, and it was just a mess. And Matt Eberflus was your head coach, and then he got canned, and then I think Thomas Brown was the interim head coach, which somehow they even got worse, which I don't know how that's possible, but yeah, this team was a complete mess. Now they got Ben Johnson, they got Joe Tooney in the offseason from the Chiefs, and they got a couple key factors and key players from the offseason and in the draft, but I don't know, man. This team just doesn't. I think they're going to be better, but not by a whole lot, in all honesty. And, yeah, that's just my feelings on it. They're not the worst team in the NFC North, I think, are going to be this year. That team goes to the Vikings, who I think are going to be 6-11. So, they were tied 16th for the ranked schedule last year, and now they're actually tied for the 5th this year. Yeah. I think the team is just going to be there this year. I mean, last year they surprised the hell out of a lot of people, including me, that they went 14-3, and somehow they weren't the best team in the NFC, which is fucking astounding to me. They weren't even the best team in their own division last year, because that went to Detroit. But, yeah, that's kind of funny to think about, but, yeah, I don't know. Like, they have the talent and they have the weapons, especially on offense and defense. It mainly comes down to J.J. McCarthy. That's literally all it comes down to, because Sam Darnold did really damn good last year, but it all comes down to J.J. How is he going to play? He might be okay. That's all I gotta literally say. He might be okay at best, but I'm not sure he's really going to be the franchise guy, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think the Vikings are going to be 6-11. And that's all I really need to say. Now, next up, we have the NFC South. So, the teams I have from order, I think it's going to be Tampa Bay, the Falcons, the Panthers, and the Saints. Tampa Bay, I think they're going to be 11-6. I believe they were 11-6 last year, I believe. I think they're going to win the division again, even if they are starting to slow down in some ways. But despite the fact the team was basically dead to rights, especially with all the injuries that they sustained and the fact they still won the division, which I'll talk about a team that should have won the division but ultimately failed. They persevere through it, and yeah, they managed to somehow win the division at 11-6. Now, I did like the fact they get Emeka Ibuka from Ohio in the draft. I really did like that pick because, you know, Chris Godwin is just coming off of an injury, and there was rumors that he might be traded because it was the last year of his deal this past year. And Mike Evans is getting up there in age as well. You know, trying to reload on weapons is not the worst thing in the world. And not to mention you had Jalen McMillan, Sterling Shepard, and even those guys got hurt. And Baker Mayfield was balling his ass off, despite the fact his freaking receivers were dropping like flies almost every single week. So, yeah, you have that going for it. But I do think the Bucs are going to win the division again. But that goes to show you how pretty shit the NFC South is. But I think they're going to be good, but not great in my opinion. Then we go into the team that should have won the division last year but ultimately failed, and that is going to be the Atlanta Falcons. Now, last year, they actually had the second easiest schedule last year with the 31st ranked schedule last year. Now, this year, they have the 20th. I think they're going to go 7-9, 9-8 this year. They're probably going to be close to winning the division, and then they fuck up, and then they're going to win 9 games at the end and be mid, and that's all it's going to be, because they should have won it last year, because they had the division right there, and then Kirk Cousins became Kirk Cousins. That's literally all I got to really say, because I just don't get this team, dude. Like, it looks like they'll win the division, and the next thing you know, they completely shit their pants at the last second and let the division run away. It makes no sense. This team and this franchise has been broken since Super Bowl 51. You can't convince me otherwise. And when Atlanta eventually does win a Super Bowl, eventually, we're all going to be saying, why didn't you win it when you had the fucking chance to? It just makes no sense at all how this team does the way it does. So, yeah, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Then we move on to the Carolina Panthers. I think are going to be 7-10 this year. And the reason why I say 7-10 and not maybe 5-12 or maybe 4-13 is because they at least have a couple things going for them. They got Ted McMillan from Arizona State as their wide receiver. And they do have a couple things going for them. The main factor is that Bryce Young got his confidence back. How is Bryce Young going to, bounce back after his second year in Carolina? Because we all know how he was his first year. His first year, he was really bad. And then he was looking bad again earlier this past season, but then they benched him and they put Andy Dalton in. And then they put Bryce back out there. And he played okay. He didn't do half bad, especially the final game against Atlanta, even though, yeah, that game didn't mean anything. It meant a lot to him because, hey, he got the showcase. He was actually not a bad quarterback. So it's more of a feel-good story for the Panthers. And even getting a big win over the Cardinals when the Cardinals were in playoff contention. So you have that. And plus, they gave Philly and the Chiefs, the two teams that were going to the Super Bowl this year, a run for their money. So you're doing something good, but that goes to show you that Philly and especially Kansas City love to play down in competition. But that's besides the point. I think the Panthers, they're going to be a respected team this year, but again, they're not going to be too great. They're still missing a lot of stuff, especially on defense and O-line, but I think they're going to be okay. Which is more than you could say about the Saints this year. I think they're going 4-13. Despite the fact they have the 31st ranked schedule this year. Last year, they were tied for the 31st ranked schedule. This team just needs to embrace the rebuild. They need to hit the fucking nuke button. They need to just completely rebuild from scratch because they've been in cap hell ever since Breeze was there, and they have done nothing ever since Breeze retired. You brought in Derek Carr, who I do like, but was damaged goods at that point, and now he's retired. And now you have Tyler Show, who is 25 years old and was pretty mid for the most part in college. Like, this team and this franchise makes no discernible sense to me. It makes no sense at all. And I don't want it to make sense, because I don't get it. I don't get this team, dude. They just need to embrace the rebuild, and I think a lot of Saints fans have been clamoring for that for a few years now, because they haven't had a first round pick that was a quarterback since Archie Manning in the 70s. Yeah. That's saying a lot, folks. That is really saying a lot, but what the hell do I know? You know, Mickey Loomis ain't gonna do a fucking thing with this franchise. They ain't gonna do anything with it, but yeah, this team's gonna suck. That's all I'm really gonna say. The only reason why I think they're gonna win 4 games is because they have a softer schedule than the Giants. That's literally all I'm going to say. And then we get to the NFC West. We're on the home stretch here, folks. Now, the teams I have, now, first 2 I can honestly flip, but I think I have my reasons why. I have the Niners winning, then the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. So the reason why I have the Niners winning at 12-5 is honestly because of their schedule. They have the 32nd ranked schedule this year, and last year they were tied for the 12th. So I think it's only because of their schedule, I think they're going to win the division by default. Because with the Rams, that's they have a different schedule than the Rams, but yeah, I don't know. Like, the Niners last year were very disappointing for a number of reasons. One, Brock Purdy didn't play all that great, and not to mention they had a lot of injuries, especially to Brandon Ayuk. And I don't know what's with this team. They actually did ship off Deebo Samuel to the Commanders, but I don't know this team. I don't know what to think of them. I really don't know to think about them. Like, they were very disappointing last year, and now they're going to suddenly win the division. I don't know. Like, the NFC West is a very bland division, because there are teams that seem like they want to run away with it, but ultimately don't. Yeah, I don't know. I might be wrong, but fuck it. I'm wrong in a lot of things, but yeah, I think the Niners might win the division at 12-5. Now the Rams, on the other hand, I think are going to go 10-7, because they had the 12th ranked schedule last year. They were tied for the 12th, and now they're tied for the 16th for this year. Again, I don't really know what to think about the Rams, because they are a very gritty team, and they did steal some wins last year, especially from, like, Seattle and all that stuff. And they nearly beat the Eagles in the playoffs, but I think this is Matt Stafford's last year. I said it last year, I'm going to say it again. I think this is Stafford's last year, because what else does he have to prove? He's already got a ring. He's proven to be one of the better quarterbacks in the past 15 years. And just, I think age is starting to catch up to him. He's still been good. He has been good, except for 2022 because he got hurt. But I think this might be Stafford's last year. Not to mention they got Devontae Adams from the Jets, which I think that's cool. And now Cooper Kupp left. He's now with Seattle. Yeah, again, and plus, when are we going to see Stetson Bennett play? Because he was kind of debating on whether to play or not, but he ultimately is, because he just played in the preseason. But I don't know. Again, this division is weird. It's a very weird division. But I think the Rams are going to go 10-7. Might be able to sneak into the playoffs. Might not. We'll see. And this might be Matt Stafford's last year in the NFL. And then we get to the Cardinals. Oh boy, Arizona. Can you not be a cock tease and actually play to your full potential? And I'm not just talking about Kyler Murray. I'm talking about the entire team. I think this team's going 8-9, and yeah, their schedule's a little more lighter than they was last year because it was tied for the 24th, and now it's tied for the 27th. Again, this team, it's mainly been Kyler. Is Kyler the guy? Because we know this guy is talented, and he's played some great games. He is a massive, massive, massive cock tease. This guy is. Like, I cannot express how much of a tease this guy is. Like, it's honestly ridiculous. Like, there will be times where he's playing, like, prime, Carson Palmer or whoever, and next thing you know, he's turning into Derek Anderson or Josh Rosen. Like, it's ridiculous. It's honestly ridiculous. Like, dude, we know you are good. Play like you're great. I mean, it's ridiculous. It happens almost every single year. And I love Jonathan Gannon, but at the same time, you guys put your foot down and say, dude, quit doing what you're doing and actually play football. I just don't get it. I really, really, really don't get it. You got Walter Nolan in the draft, which I think was really nice. But Marvin Harrison Jr. had a decent rookie year, but he was pretty underwhelming. But then again, Kyler wasn't really throwing him the ball all that much. So there's that. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think this team is really going to do a whole lot of stuff. They might honestly go 7-10. I just might be wrong, but there's another team I think is going to go 7-10, and I think that's going to be Seattle. Now, last year they were tied for the 24th ranked schedule. Now this year they are tied for the 21st. Seattle, to me, is in a weird spot, mainly because, Geno Smith is gone. They got Sam Darnold, and now they have Jalen Milroe from, was it Oklahoma? Is it Milroe from Oklahoma? Was that the college he went to? No, Alabama. Not Oklahoma. Alabama. My bad. Yeah, I don't know. Like, the Seahawks are kind of in a weird state. Like, they could have won the division last year because the division was wide open because the Niners were struggling and the Rams were struggling. It was really between them and the Cardinals, but no one wanted to take the division. So they had a chance to take it, but they ultimately didn't. And I don't know. I just feel like this team needs something. They need some oomph. Because their defense was kind of meh. Their offense was kind of meh last year. They don't have DK Metcalf anymore. He's now with the Steelers. They did bring in Cooper Kupp, which I think is nice, but he's kind of damaged goods in some regards because he really can't stay healthy a lot. But I don't know. Like, again, this team's weird. I just don't know what to think of them, but I think they're going to go 7-10. They're going to be middle of the road again, but again, they need something. They really, 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 really need something. So, folks, that is it for my video of the NFC teams. What teams I think are going to be good, what teams I think are going to be bad. Some I'm just kind of indifferent about. Yeah, this video is going to age poorly because a lot of my predictions and my predictions have aged poorly. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video because I know a lot of people really like my AFC video, so maybe this one might get more likes or maybe about the same as my last one. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap that big red subscribe button, and tap the bell so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and most importantly, join the herd. Talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.